So while it should go without saying, yes, I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. They are the best Spider-Man movies out there.
Oh, but dannphan, you only review bad comics and bad movies.
Despite the fact that I love the Spider-Man movies, all two of them, I do think that you can still look at something you love and critique it and actually think about it and think about how can this be improved even further. Which leads me into making this video, because while I was rewatching the Spider-Man movies with my boyfriend, I noticed something very specific, a very specific flaw. And a lot of people dislike Spider-Man 3 because of its many flaws, but there is one particular flaw that exists throughout every single movie consistently. The romance, people. The romance is the worst part about these movies. Now before you pull out your guns, let me explain. What I mean by the romance being bad, I really mean Mary Jane and Peter Parker and how their relationship is established and how it develops. Let's start off with Spider-Man 1. We all know that Mary Jane is dating this jock, Flash, and Peter is pursuing her despite the fact that she's dating another guy. Now right away you can kind of critique this. It does tend to be a trope in a lot of superhero things where like nerdy guy is going after some other guy's girlfriend, and you're not really supposed to think about it that much as being a kind of a douchey thing to do. Adam actually did know a guy from his college who had a fetish for stealing other guys' girlfriends, and this guy was not handsome or charming. He was a short, disgusting goblin with a micro penis who would get on his knees and beg women to have sex with him. My point is, when you see this in real life, this is pathetic loser behavior. This is not something that you want to try to do in real life. I'm willing to let it pass because this is when Peter is still young. He's still in high school. This is before he becomes Spider-Man. This is before he learns about responsibility and all that jazz. So it makes sense that he's going to do these really stupid, immature things like pursue a girl who already has a boyfriend. Now, lucky for him, Flash and Mary Jane break up during graduation. We don't really know why, they just do. And not lucky for Peter, Harry, his best friend, pursues Mary Jane instead and snags her on the rebound, despite knowing that his friend Peter likes her.
Well, he's loved her since the 4th grade. He pretends like he doesn't, but there's no one Peter cares for more.
Kinda douchey best friend behavior. It makes sense why Harry would keep this a secret from Peter. All that being said, there's still a lesson that can be learned here. After all, if you never make a move on a girl, somebody else is, and they're gonna sweep in and take her before you get the chance.
It's just, you never made a move.
You're right. I didn't.
All that being said, the way Harry did it, by like actually going after her immediately after she breaks up with someone, he really didn't even give Peter a chance to make his move. So the lesson doesn't really hit as well as maybe it should have. As the movie develops, Mary Jane ends up getting saved by Spider-Man twice, developing a crush on Spider-Man, despite the fact he's like kind of a total stranger. The only thing that she knows about him is, hey, he saved her life. And this eventually leads into the famous Spider-Man kiss scene in the alleyway where she cheats on Harry by making out with Spider-Man. Now, most people actually misremember this movie and think that the Spider-Man kiss scene happens after her and Harry break up, but no, it happens before. She is consciously choosing to cheat on Harry with this stranger in a mask. And some people might try to justify this like, oh, well, she was just kissing him to thank him for saving her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if a police officer saved me from a couple of thugs and I made out with him in the alleyway, I don't think my boyfriend would be very happy with that. Oh no, you don't understand, Adam. I was just thanking him for saving me with tongue.
Harry, please, look at her.
You think a woman like that sniffing around because she likes your personality?
Yeah, gotta say, Norman is kinda right about Mary Jane. Or at the very least, he's right about her not caring about Harry. She won't even, kiss him, but she'll kiss Spider-Man in the alleyway. And then later on in the movie, Mary Jane admits to Peter in confidence that she is in love with Spider-Man.
I'm in love with somebody else. He saved my life twice, and I've never even seen his face.
Oh. Him.
So it's not as though this kiss was just thanking him for saving her. She actually has feelings for this mysterious masked man. Obviously, Peter can't tell her that he's actually the guy that she made out with in that alley for a couple different reasons, but one of them being that he doesn't want anyone to know that he's Spider-Man. Surely Aunt May gives him good advice though, right? Surely she tells him, hey, it's not actually right for you to have an affair with another man's woman, right?
Harry's in love with her. She's still his girl.
Well, isn't that up to her? Would it be so dangerous to let Mary Jane know how much you care?
God damn, Aunt May! Aren't you supposed to be the wise voice of reason throughout this movie? Aunt May, aren't you Christian? So right away in the first movie, Mary Jane is set up to be this disloyal, indecisive cheater. She moves from man to man to man until eventually concluding that she loved Peter all along at the end of the movie. Does this make her more valuable if she had crushes on 3 different guys, at least what she perceives as 3 different guys before saying, actually, I love the 4th guy? Thinking about it like that, it's really less impactful when she confesses to Peter, because it's well, damn, bitch, you love everybody. And I would say that Peter rejecting her at the end of the movie is the right thing to do. And then we move on to Spider-Man 2, where time has passed and Mary Jane is engaged to another man. But she's still kinda flirting with Peter despite they're just friends. Now, of course, this is the movie where we have the Spider-Man No More arc. Peter decides that he wants to give up being Spider-Man and pursue Mary Jane again. So what does he do? She's engaged to another guy. Oh, naturally, he's going to just convince her to leave her fiancé.
You think just because you saw my play, you can talk me out of getting married?
You once told me you loved me. I let things get in the way before. There was something I thought I had to do. I don't have to.
You're too late.
Will you think about it?
But hey, at least he's not betraying his best friend by breaking them up. It's just some nice astronaut guy who he doesn't know. Once again, this is loser behavior, but I would even let this pass. Why would I let this pass? Because he's making the wrong choice to give up being Spider-Man to go after Mary Jane. And they make it apparent in the movie that he's making the wrong choice here. She already said yes to marrying this other guy. If you wanted to get with her, you should have gotten with her before. But of course, Mary Jane, being the indecisive person that she is, actually takes up Peter on his offer. And she meets up with him at this cafe to talk about it before breaking up with her fiancé. She's gonna keep him as a backup plan on the side while meeting up with this other guy who she wants to pursue a relationship with. So what, MJ? Are you gonna just sleep with Peter first to test the waters out and then maybe leave your fiancé? After Peter rejects her again, Mary Jane tries to get him to kiss her.
Kiss me.
Kiss you.
I need to know something. Just one kiss.
It's just a kiss. It is important to note that the director even shows a shot of her wedding ring in the focus while she's stroking his hand. We know what's happening. We know the implication here.
You're sluts.
This is not subtle at all. And it's consistent with the first movie, because in the first movie she wasn't loyal to Harry either. Why would I believe that she would be loyal to this other fiancé? She hasn't been loyal to anybody. For all I know, that's why she broke up with Flash. Maybe she cheated on him too. And some of you might point out, oh, well, they don't actually kiss in the cafe, dannphan. She knew that there was going to be a car that gets thrown through the window. Yeah, she's psychic. She knew that they weren't actually gonna kiss. And how does Spider-Man 2 conclude? Well, she finds out that he's Spider-Man and then leaves her fiancé at the altar to go be with Peter. Now, obviously this is the worst way to break up with someone. No, you gotta wait until after they spend all the money on the wedding and then leave him. It's also important to point out, there's nothing wrong with the fiancé. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just a nice guy. And unlike Harry, he never betrayed Peter. He really doesn't deserve his emotions to be played with. They did him really dirty in Spider-Man 2. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that J. Jonah Jameson didn't fire Peter after finding out that, like, he's sleeping with the woman who was supposed to marry his son. It's a little bit weird, don't you think, Jay? But that's okay, because now that they're together, Mary Jane and Peter will definitely be loyal to each other, because supposedly they're soulmates. They're supposed to be the right ones. They made the right decision now by coming together and being together. So why would there be any reason for adultery with them? Yeah, cheaters often use that exact excuse to justify their own bad decisions. They're like, oh, well, the reason why I cheated is because they weren't the right one. They just weren't the right one. I just gotta keep on trying until I find somebody who I won't cheat on. And then Spider-Man 3 comes in and it just slaps you in the face with some reality, huh? That's right. They cheat on each other. They both cheat on each other in Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man literally kisses Gwen right in front of Mary Jane and doesn't see it as a problem at all. I wonder why. Now this scene is actually a callback to that scene where Spider-Man kissed Mary Jane in the alleyway. You know, when Mary Jane was the one cheating on Harry. Can you smell the irony here? Oh, it doesn't feel so good when it happens to you, does it? Mary Jane is also the one who convinced Peter that a kiss doesn't mean anything.
Just one kiss.
No, not like that.
Now you might think that this is some sort of character arc for Mary Jane, and you'd be disappointed if you know how the rest of Spider-Man 3 goes. Because during their fight after he kisses Gwen, Mary Jane spends a lot of time with Harry. And yeah, she flirts and makes out with Harry.
It was just that he was so sad and tall.
And you're so loose and cheap.
It doesn't matter who she's dating. You already dated Harry. There is no right one for you. There is no soulmate for you. It's just whoever you're dating, you will fuck somebody else. And yes, after they kiss, Mary Jane gets all embarrassed as she leaves, but that doesn't mean that she learned her lesson. There's no real character arc or accountability with Mary Jane in this movie. Spider-Man is the one who's perceived as being in the wrong because of Venom's influence over him, making him all edgy and wear eyeliner. Oh, well, I wouldn't have had to cheat if Peter wasn't treating me badly first. She's cheated on pretty much every other boyfriend that she's had throughout the Spider-Man series. But nah, it was Peter's fault that she kissed another guy. So let's conclude what we've learned from watching the Spider-Man trilogy here. The romance sucks. Mary Jane is consistently written to be a cheater in every Spider-Man movie. It is not a one-off thing. It's not just a mistake that she makes. It's not a flaw that she has to overcome. No, it's just part of her character. It's just something that she always does. Spider-Man is supposed to be an icon for people to look up to. Even if he makes a wrong decision, ultimately, at the end of the movies, he's supposed to make the right decisions, and he's supposed to inspire people to find those right decisions and make them. It's shown as the right thing to do for him to make out with her in her wedding dress after she left another man at the altar. Guys, this is not normal. You do not have to settle for this. You can, in fact, do better. And look, the romance is important in the Spider-Man trilogy. It is a huge part of the Spider-Man trilogy. The first movie, the only reason why he goes out to make money at this shady WWE is because he wants to buy a car to steal her from her boyfriend. The reason why he gives up being Spider-Man is because he wants to be with her. And the reason in Spider-Man 3 where he's giving up Venom is because he doesn't want to hurt Mary Jane anymore. The romance is a big part of those movies. It's not something that's just on the side that can be easily cut out. And it's worth pointing out that when we look at the Marvel comic books, when Mary Jane is disloyal or bitchy in the Marvel comic books, there's this huge backlash. People don't like it. And maybe they fail to realize that part of the inspiration for constantly splitting these two apart might be the movies, where she's indecisive, doesn't know what she wants. Oh, I gotta go fuck a bunch of other guys first before I decide that I like you, Peter. And another question that you may have, if you've gotten this far in the video, is why? Why did they choose to portray Mary Jane and Peter like this in the movies? And I think the main reason is this is a product of its time. And I know you're probably getting real sick of hearing that in modern day, but yeah, these movies were made in the 2000s, and during the 90s and 2000s, there was a lot of romance movies that depicted adultery and portrayed it as being this fun, sexy thing. They were essentially cheating fantasies that were just everywhere. People talk about how like superhero movies are being ruined in modern day. Romance movies were ruined for a long time. I think one of the worst examples of this is You've Got Mail. Now this is a remake of another movie, much better movie, called The Shop Around the Corner. Originally, this is an anti-cheating movie that actually showcases cheating for what it is, this horrible deed that can ruin a man's life.
22 years I was proud of my wife. Well, she just didn't want to grow old with me.
And then you flash forward to You've Got Mail, and they remade the movie to portray the main characters cheating on their spouses? Why? And it's seen as like this funny, quirky thing with music accompanying it. Tee-hee, I can't wait to cheat on my fiance. Oh, I love cheating on my fiance with a guy on the internet. Tee-hee.
What's the matter, Chuck? Don't do that, Mr. Moneycheck. Go away.
Is it infidelity if you're involved with someone on email?
I don't really care when or where this cheating trope started. It should be eradicated from society. And I really do think that people now, more than ever, are really sick of this kind of media where it depicts cheating as being quirky or sexy or cool. You might all remember recently the story of the astronomer CEO. He was forced to resign after this viral video of him with the HR lady, and everyone's cheering over the fact that he had to resign. Everyone was super upset that this guy was caught cheating on his wife. But why? If cheating is supposed to be this quirky, sexy, cool thing, then why would he be upset? Well, because we know that that's not actually the case. As I've mentioned time and time again, I do love romance as a genre, and as someone who creates my own comic books, I will never, ever romanticize cheating in any of my stories because it's not romantic. If I ever put any cheating in my stories, I'm going to show it for what it is, this offensive and immoral thing to do. People say, oh, well, it's the only way to create drama in a story is if a girl wants to fuck two guys instead of one. You ever just be on a first date and you're nervous and tense? Don't you think that's more than enough to make a story tense? Not to mention all the vast varieties of social dramas that exist out there. And then there are people that say, oh, well, you might not like these cheating dramas, but other people do. They cheer for the characters ending up with each other anyway. Look, the fans only root for the characters ending up together because they're reading a romance. They're reading a romance. They expect the two characters to end up together at the end. Obviously, they're going to root for that happening. If they didn't end up together, it would still be a bad romance. Oh, well, don't worry about them cheating on each other. Look, they're together now. Now that they're together, they're happy. Jingle, jingle. But look, I know that this video has already been going on for way too long. I did not expect to talk about this topic for as long as I ended up talking about it. This is something that I don't see a lot of people actually talking about, but it's not something that I think should be ignored. When you notice something wrong, maybe you should point it out. Maybe you should be like, hey, we should stop doing this type of trope. And it was hard for me to decide to make this video in the first place because I love the Spider-Man movies. All 2 of them. And it's not like I think that the movies are irredeemable just because the romance sucks. I've even considered editing the movies to make my own versions of them where I just take out the cheating scenes. Because really, it's kind of the only bad thing that's consistent with all the movies. Spider-Man 3 might be irredeemable, there's only so much you can do. But Spider-Man 1 and 2 really have a lot going for them. They really do a good job of capturing the essence of what Spider-Man is. They're just not teaching you a good lesson when it comes to relationships. All of these things are important, and maybe we should look forward to a future where we can put better morals in our media. But let me know what you think down below in the comments section. If you'd like to see more videos of me ranting and raving or reading bad comics, because I read a lot of bad comics here, make sure you subscribe, check out some of my other videos, you might enjoy them. And if you are curious about what kind of comics that I've written quite a lot. And you can check them all out on burningstarcomics.net. I recommend that you do. I think you'll be rather impressed. I don't know what that was. I actually just pulled my hair. That wasn't good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.